I'm back with another good one, and I'm back with another sad story. This topic that I'm going to talk about, this happened during April. This happened during April to a young lady that was tricked. Right, she was tricked, and she was misled and misguided by this individual that took advantage of her innocence, basically, and used her as a sex act and a sex slave towards grown men. And she was only 13 years old, and she was a victim. And I'm gonna send my condolences out to her and her family is dealing with this trauma and depression that's in her life, and that's basically going to be there for a very, very long time. I want to send my condolences out to her. I definitely do. I definitely do. The reason why I'm talking about this topic, because there's victims all around the world, and as being a victim of molestation, being molested by someone that's in your household, that's supposed to be caring for you and loving on you and helping you grow into your adulthood, just to take advantage of your innocence, right? And to use and abuse you is very nasty and demonic and evil, right? And a lot of single mothers that's out there, they find love in the wrong places. They find love in the wrong places, right? There's predators, comes in all shapes and sizes, predators. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because these are topics right here that need to be talked about. And you being a victim of being molested and everything else should keep your foot and your gas on these hot topics, and to be engaging in other things other than spirituality and human trafficking and abusing children and beating children. This should be your main focus, right? If it's not talking about children being taken advantage of, it's supposed to be talk about spirituality and find solutions, right? And bringing awareness to hundreds and thousands of children that's being took advantage of. And on these major platforms, it's not being talked about. What's being talked about is hot topics. What's being talked about is everything other than these children are being taken advantage of, and their innocence is being taken advantage of, and it's going to ruin their life, right? And ultimately going to end up, these victims are going to be committing suicide upon their life. This is an actual fact. And they're going to wind up on drugs and everything else because they don't have an outlet. They don't have nobody and the voice to talk up for them. But I'm here. I'm one of the voices that talks up against being sexually assaulted and sexually abused, right? By grown-ups, right? Just Thursday, I went to the city council to talk about Spofford, right? And children being sexually assaulted in Spofford, right? And being taken advantage of and beaten half to death and having their innocence taken there and nobody there to watch. Yes, I'm going to show 3 clippings and then I'm going to show a video of this young lady, right? That her innocence was being taken advantage of, and this predator found her on Snapchat. He got into her mind and he used her and abused her and passed her off to other people to take advantage of her for money. This is actually true facts. And these are the things that we need to focus on, and these are the things that we need to talk about as victims. I've been doing my part as a victim, but constantly I always talk about spirituality. You see, us here as victims, right? This is therapeutic for us, where that we can share our experiences, right? and our achievement, right, and overcoming of being a victim to the whole entire world. This is an actual fact. And on these major platforms, they don't talk about this. They don't get this information out, which is needed amongst our communities, amongst our society, amongst each other, of being victim and victimized, right, and being abused and sexually abused. This is true. This is true. And this is why this is the understanding that we need to understand amongst us to get us to another plateau, to overcoming, right, a lot of these obstacles that's in our life, and that's is going to happen to a lot of future victims. This is why we need to build a network, right, with the loved ones and with the victims, and also future victims that might be victims. Let's try to stop this. Let's try to stop this with our voices. To do what? To bring awareness to single mothers, right, and parents that may not know they have victims in their home. This is an actual fact. And these are the hot topics that we're supposed to be talking about. Instead of talking about murder, death, kill, and talking about who's snitching, who's not snitching, who stand up and who's not stand up. These things, right, supposed to be talking about victims, because you are a victim. You are a victim. So you're supposed to put your foot and your gas on the pedal, on the necks of these predators, whether it be your family members, whether it be friends, or whether it be anybody that come inside the home of the single mother and parents and beating on children that can't defend themselves. These are the things that we're supposed to be talking about, right? So, without further ado, let me get into these videos right here. It's going to be 3 videos, right? And I want you to get in my description. And my description is an 800 number, where that if you are a victim and if you know anybody that's a victim, call a number up. They will help you. Yes, they will help you. It is a hotline. Use the number. Use it. You know, it can save lives. If you know someone is being beaten and their lives are being destroyed and being locked in a corner and locked in a closet and don't have an outlet. You understand what I'm saying? So if you know somebody like that, I need for you to connect with that 8100 number. It's in my description. Also in my description, right, there is a video. And of the video, I show clippings of Spofford. And I just was there at City Council talking about how those guards and those counselors at that time in Spofford beat and abused juveniles and took advantage of them and sexually abused them. That's an actual true fact. So I'm gonna get into this right now. There's 3 videos. Man, actually there's 4 videos. There's 3 clippings, and then there's a video of the actual victim and why I made this video right here. And we need to spread this amongst us, which is really, really important. And these are the things that we need to talk about. This is an actual true fact. Okay? Hold on one second.
You may begin.
This is the first clipping.
You can turn. Oh, sorry, we've been joined by Council Member Vernikov. My apologies.
Good afternoon. My name is Fawzia Muhammad. I'm here today because I was abused not once but twice, in two different juvenile detention facilities. I was just a child. Instead of being protected, I was handed over to people who saw that I had no one to stand for me. The places that were supposed to help me became places of fear and pain. When something like this happens once, it's devastating. But when it happens again in another facility, it shows that something bigger is very wrong. It means there was no accountability, no oversight, and no one making sure children were truly safe. What happened to me didn't just stay in my past. It has affected every part of my life, my relationships, my ability to trust, my sense of safety in this world.
Good morning. My name is Jason Moore. I'm 63 years old, but
Good morning. My name is Khalid Melvin. I was 14 years old when I went to Spofford Juvenile Detention. Okay, I'm sorry. While I was there, I was abused by staff members, people who were supposed to protect us and guide us. Instead, they took advantage of us. Juvenile detention centers are hunting ground for predators that disguise themselves as civil servants. The boys that were detained along with myself were victimized by adults knowing they had the law on their side. So I'm here to ask that let the law be on our side. I understand that they...
Good morning. My name is Jason Moore. I'm 63 years old, but I still carry the pain of what happened to me as a child. I was abused when I was in a juvenile detention center and also at the hands of the Catholic Archdiocese. A place that I thought would keep me safe. Instead, it became a place where I lost my childhood. The people who hurt me had complete control over me and had no way to escape. The trauma that has stayed with me my entire life.
Now you see what I'm talking about. These are the real stories and real content that we need to be talking about as victims, right? As victims, this is what we need to be talking about. We don't need to be talking about anything else for fame, fortune, and riches. Like, shares, and subscribes, And when we do this, we co-create something of an evil that's in our life that we cannot get rid of, right? And this is really, really important that we do this as victims. As victims, this is really, really important. And these are the things that we need to talk about amongst us, which can help us grow and help another person find their calling instead of using drugs and alcohol and everything else, right? And lashing out and all of these other things and people making fun. Because we as victims, we need our own community, our own goddess, our own guidelines, right? As victims, so we can uplift one another. Do you know how many victims of males that's all around the world? I don't want to talk about them being victimized and then being sexually abused by their family members, by their mother's significant other partners that came in there and victimized children. Do you know how many is that? And people don't talk about that. It's a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of men. In order to understand this, in order to rid ourselves of this evil, you have to talk about it. You have to release this devil and demon that's holding you down. It's really, really important that we do this. Really important that we do this, right? So I'm going to show another video, which is really, really important. And, this victim, this was back in April of this year that this man slept with this 13-year-old. He found her on Snapchat and used her, right? And these are the topics that's not talked about on these major platforms. As you being a victim, as me being a victim, I talk about my topics I definitely do talk about my topic, and I talk about me being victimized and me being abused as a child and being sexually assaulted by family members, and those that supposed to have loved me took advantage. Right? This is why Thursday I was at the city council in New York City. I was at the city council, and it was so many victims there, man. It was so many people there. And listen, I commend all those brothers and sisters that stepped up, that really stepped up and had a voice and used that inner voice, that inner child that was locked away for so many years inside of them, whether it be male or female, you know, and to reach out and find that little boy and find that little girl. You can also get in my descriptions, right, and say, find that little boy. I'm going to put that in my description after this, right, so you can go watch that video. That video went viral also. But this is the sick evil right here.
Bucks County District Attorney Jennifer Shorn. I'm here to report that 3 men have been arrested for inflicting child sexual abuse crimes against a 13-year-old female child from the Central Bucks area. Zachary Lee McCauley of Louisville, Kentucky, who's 29 years of age, was arrested, as was 67-year-old John Thomas Van Ingen and 42-year-old Randy Francis Quinn. As you may recall, in February of this year, we appealed to the public, using your help, the media, to get word out because we made an arrest of a child sexual predator, Mark Wills, who resided in Bucks County. And we needed the public's help in trying to identify some of the unidentified victims that were, that evidence showed were victimized by this individual. We also appealed to the parents to get the word out to their children, to make sure they keep an open dialogue as to the dangers of online predators, as well as to check their children's devices. And one mother did just that. She had concerns for her daughter's well-being, and her concerns were confirmed when she saw suspicious activity. As a result, she reported her concerns to my office, and thanks to this amazing team of county detectives standing behind me, they opened an investigation. And they identified a perpetrator from Kentucky who was sexually exploiting this 13-year-old child. Not only was he sexually exploiting her, but he was manufacturing child sexual abuse materials, and he was trafficking her to other men. This man accessed this child through an online platform, Snapchat, and he did so.
See, he used Snapchat. He used Snapchat, and he used the online major platforms to bait this child in, right? And she's only 13 years old, and this is what he do, and this is what these predators do. They use these major platforms to promote and to get their next victim. This is why it's really, really important as a parent to watch your children's social media. You have predators there. You have predators there. Sick, demonic, devil, demon, right? Demons there to take your children innocent by any means necessary to them. We need to find these individuals and cut them out of our societies. And one of the major ways that you can do that, we as victims can give you a heads up on how to identify these predators that enter the homes of our loved ones and of our parents and our mothers, knowing that our fathers are not there. This is an actual true fact. And for every reason, whatever the father's not there, that's personal. But this is where we need to begin a campaign of upliftment of victims that's been victimized and sexually abused at a young age and can't help themselves. This is an actual true fact. And nobody should be laughing at victims. Nobody should be laughing at victims that have been sexually abused, sexually assaulted at a young age, whether it be 13, 12, 11, 10, 5, whatever age you've been sexually abused at. Nobody should not be laughing about this. Because what's going to happen is that if you're making fun about a person being victimized and they overcome them being trauma and depression, they traumas and depression and became successful, and you're still laughing at them, you're going to have a whole lot of other people that's going to hate you, and your platform, and you're going to lose viewers and subscribers because you're making fun of a person that's been victimized and that is expressing themselves on these major platforms and found this as an outlet to do what? To find therapy and being therapeutic on these major platforms. This is an actual true fact. Your platform and yourself is going to become a target of those that have been victimized and sexually abused, whether it be male or female, and they're going to hate you for that. I don't want to use this word. They're going to hate you for that because they are victims. You do not make fun of victims. You don't do that. You're going to see your platform go downhill because there's so many victims that's out there that don't have a voice, and they don't want to have a voice or come out the closet, and we are their voice, and we are their what? They hope to get in them, right? To get in them, to tap in to their traumas and depression and killing that demon that's plaguing them. That's right. We are their voices. I am their voice. And for the individuals that's just doing hot topics, and you are a victim, you need to start talking about spirituality and children, men and female, young boys, young girls being victimized. Trust you me, it will help you out. And these are the hot topics that we need to talk about. Not that garbage entertainment. You understand? And you getting money off that. You've been blinded by what? By fame, fortune, riches, light, shade, squad, lights, cameras, and actions. But I've been on the front line talk about victims, because I am a victim. Right? So on these major platforms, this is what we talk about. And this is sad. So get in my description. There's a number there. If you know anybody that's been a victim or been victimized or been sexually abused by family members or by anybody, call the number. And also, I would like you to go over there and watch my video of me participating in city council, speaking up against victims being victimized in juvenile detention centers like Spofford that's no longer in existence. But the pain and suffering of us being victimized and being abused, sexually abused and being beaten is still there in our adult age. And a lot of people are not here to voice their opinion. Either they dead and gone or they are on drugs because they can't deal with the sexual assaulted and them being abused. Right? That's right. So y'all have an amazing day. Peace, y'all. Peace.